no right to be here!
Protest in a holiday coastal town out of season this weekend. Far-right nationalists descended on the Lincolnshire town of Skegness to exploit local unease about hotels housing asylum seekers. A Home Office policy that has caused friction with locals who feel that their concerns are being ignored. At Saturday's march, some locals were among the 200 to 300 people who marched through Skegness to stage a rally in a local park, under the watchful eye of the police. But it was clear that some in the crowd didn't appreciate our presence.
Oh, let me two streets where you know.
Don't take us for fools! We know they are not refugees! They are illegal immigrants!
The march was attended by far-right groups from outside Skegness. One of those was Patriotic Alternative, a small group led by a former leading activist in the British National Party. And the group made leading speeches at the event. At this time of year, not a lot should be going on in the coastal resort of Skegness. Facing the North Sea, this seaside town is famously bracing, even more so in late February. But Skegness is one of a number of towns and cities, including holiday resorts, that the Home Office is using to house asylum seekers. There are around 220 asylum seekers housed in the town of 22,000. Some locals and businesses are concerned about the effect that the use of this seafront accommodation could have on the local economy and the town's image.
Both the threes, 33.
It's eyes down at the local social club where the punters are chasing a full house. But the housing of asylum seekers is something everyone is aware of.
We think that we're being put on with the amount of the asylum seekers what we've got. We're not saying we don't want any, but there is a lot. They should be shared out a bit better. And that sounds terrible, doesn't it? I don't mean it to.
The issue has been building locally for months. In November, a usually poorly attended council meeting became very rowdy.
I'm the Mayor's chaplain, so I turned up to bless the council. And there's usually 15, 20 people in there in the public spaces. Well, there were considerably more than that. And it very quickly degenerated into people just shouting and bawling and being quite unpleasant. So the meeting was abandoned and the mayor and the town clerk and the councillors left. But the majority of people at that meeting, I would say, were not local. I know a lot of the local people, and there were accents and people there I'd never seen before.
At the local Anglican church, St Matthew's, churchgoers are celebrating the beginning of Lent, but it seems everyone in the town is aware of the asylum controversy.
The peace of the Lord be always with you.
The rector of Skegness, Richard Holden, has seen the tensions develop over the last few months firsthand.
I think if it's going to affect local businesses, I think that's a legitimate concern. So our economy is based on holidaymakers. So if that's damaged, that damages the town. So I think that's a legitimate concern.
And what's not legitimate?
I think it's not legitimate to say that they're coming and they're standing outside the school gates, that they are going into the local nightclubs and being a nuisance, or that they're unpleasant to anybody. I've never found them unpleasant. You do see them walking around, and they walk around in twos and threes, and I think when people have actually been aggressive to them, I think it's probably sensible to walk around in twos and threes.
The asylum seekers we spoke to did not want to speak on camera. One told us the police visited them at the hotels to brief them ahead of the protest. Businesses in Skegness want a policy rethink.
It's the government's problem here. They've made a right mess of it. They shouldn't have done what they've done. I mean, it's costing, the amount of money it's costing per day is ridiculous. When you've got a cost of living crisis, but we're spending all this money on hotels for asylum seekers, when you've got all these old MOD sites which are standing empty. I mean, you know, it's just crazy, just beggars belief.
And who's benefiting from all of this?
They are companies and individuals from London and Birmingham. Nobody can find out exactly who they are. It's all clothed in secrecy, etc. So they're the ones that are making the money. They've suddenly come in, bought up these hotels and done this deal with the government or Serco or whoever it happens to be. And they're getting ridiculous amounts of money. And we know what will happen. As soon as the government decides to move them away, these guys will suddenly disappear and we'll never see them again. And then these hotels will be left to rack and ruin.
The local MP has spoken out against outsiders marching through Skegness and inflaming the issue.
I share a lot of the concerns that local people have in Skegness and around the country about the use of hotels for people seeking asylum. It doesn't seem to me that it is the right place for people seeking asylum, and it doesn't seem like it's the right place, the right thing to be doing with hotels themselves either. But that's not the same thing as saying people with those concerns have the same ambitions or the same agenda as people like Patriotic Alternative and the far right.
For some people in towns all over the country, there are concerns about the impact on local services and business of placing asylum seekers in hotels. But as Saturday's march in Skegness showed, genuine concerns can be seized on by those who seek to stir up hate, sometimes with fractious results.